GM owners are starting to realize that something is seriously wrong with their vehicles, and many are starting to question how things got this bad. From over-engineered systems and failing engines to transmissions and electrical issues, a lot of these problems feel like they could have been avoided with better quality control. I've been seeing more owners and mechanics talk about these issues, so I put together some of the clips that stood out to show what's really happening. But before we continue, make sure to like the video and subscribe. We're not slowing down anytime soon, and there's a lot more coming. But with that being said, let's get back into the video.
Jesus. 7,000 miles on a 2025. Everyone talks about how these Chevy frames get all rusty pretty early on. So this is a 2025 with like 12,000 kilometers, maybe 7,000 miles. She's looking pretty rusty, fellas. But it gets better. Look at that. Jesus. 7,000 miles on a 2025. And you get a frame that looks like that? Jeez. Now look, granted, we are up here in Canada where they salt the roads to living hell, but I mean, you know, you'd like to think the frame wouldn't rust that soon. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. What do you guys think? Is this acceptable? GM, they don't paint their frames. They put this waxy stuff on it, and it just, I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting that they don't paint their frames and their frames seem to rust the fastest. Is that a coincidence?
Love me some Cadillac, but not this one. Cadillac Escalade 2022, water coming all over on the inside from every hole and crevice you can imagine. Soaked. It's not been in a hurricane. I live in Michigan. It parks in a garage. The dealership said manufacturing issue. I believe it. Recalls coming in every day. Awful.
Come on, Cadillac. What's up, Cadillac? What's up? What's up, Cadillac? What's up, bro? What's up, Cadillac? Shit, in the middle of the road. What's up? She's a piece of
2023 Denali is in the shop today. This is a diesel model. Got 50,000 miles. So we'll be going on 3 years old. Had possibly 3 winters on it. Look at the rear strut. The top of the rear strut is completely falling apart. GM said they won't do anything for the guy because it's off warranty, obviously, but both rear struts are leaking bad. Check out the pieces I'm getting out of it. So obviously it's the customer's fault for not taking care of it properly. That's what GM would say, but that's what's going on. It's going to get a new set of rear struts, and possibly it's also getting a transmission service.
Quick rant right here. To remove the starter on this piece of Colorado, you must jack up the engine, take the drive shaft off the 4-wheel drive, remove this exhaust manifold, take this bitch ass motor mount out and backing plate, and now finally we can touch the starter.
They just put a brand new motor on that shit. They just put it 3 months ago on engine.
So have you guys heard about the transmission failures in the GM trucks? 2014 GMC Sierra with the 6L80 transmission. Customer states it goes in the neutral. And would you believe that on this truck, the transmission failure was over a $99 part? That's right. This is the transmission cooler line bypass valve, which stuck itself in the closed position. And what it's supposed to do is close to help warm up the transmission and then open to cool it down. Well, when they stick in the closed position, they cook the transmission. Insert picture here of the metal filings on my finger when I swiped on the inside of this valve. So this is the old transmission. The new one's getting installed. And our recommendation is at every service interval of a fluid and filter change, replace that bypass valve. It's only $100. It could save you $5,000.
All right, so I'm on a test drive with these guys, and the car broke down on the side of the highway. Here we are in this 2022 Escalade with 48,000 miles on it, taking up the entire highway. This thing is completely stuck in the middle of the road. Got a car from the dealership that came out to assess what's happening. It is official. The Escalade does not work.
I need somebody to tag Cadillac. This is my second Escalade this year. I already did the limit law on one of them. Now I'm back in it. Car done clunked out. Cadillac has become a piece of shit. I'm out here thugging. I paid $100-something. I got refrigerators, TVs, and this motherfucker raggedy as fuck. Somebody tag Cadillac.
Dude, block's definitely savable. Just gotta take off this mount and it's got a sunroof now.
Every GM truck is gonna have this issue. See this mess here? If you're a GM owner, you've probably already had this or going to have it. This leaking mess, whether it's a gas truck or diesel truck, is from the transmission cooler lines. All GM trucks are gonna have transmission cooler lines leaking. It's almost a guarantee. Instead of fighting these hard metal fab lines, our friends at Fleece have done an upgraded heavy duty transmission cooler lines that are way better than this, and they're more flexible, so it's easier to install instead of fighting these terrible things. Better fittings, heavy duty hydraulic hose. Have you seen a GM truck that doesn't have a tranny cooler line leaking?
I mean, not really. Unless it's like right off the line, but even then, it's not too long away.
Yeah, I guess a brand new truck won't leak.
Yeah, you'd hope not.
Yeah. We see this all the time. Let me know if you guys have seen something like this. If you're interested in upgrading, we have those on our website. Again, 2001 to current. If you got a transmission cooler, the lines are gonna leak, so you might as well upgrade.
This motor has cost GM over $1 billion. That's 1 billion with a B, not an M. $1 billion, and I'm going to show you why. The rod journals and the main journals on this, and I'll show you the video of where we've done a profilometer and checked it. And this is what I believe is causing this problem. It looks like the surface finish is fine, it's smooth enough. The problem is there's too many valleys and peaks within a micron area, and I'm going to show you what that does to the rod bearing. This motor has 0 miles on it. This motor, the reason it has 0 miles is it failed the Pico test that GM does, and it's setting up too many vibrations. And why is it like vibrating? That Pico test picks up resonance, vibrations, and it failed that test, so GM said, get the motor out. We've got a couple of these motors as cores, and I'm disassembling them, and I'm going to show you what's going on here. This is a perfect example. See that rod bearing, how we have that shadow there, and a shadow there, and a shadow there, and a shadow there? That's not dirt. What that is because of those peaks and valleys, the oil film on these bearings is less than 1/1000th of an inch. Now guys, remember, 1/1000th of an inch, your hair is 10 times thicker than that, okay? 1/1000th of an inch is not a lot of oil film. And if that oil film has peaks and valleys, I want you to think of the bottom of an ocean, the way that a surf wave will come up. If the bottom of the ocean just has a shelf like this, the wave hits that shelf and it just comes up and you got a beautiful wave. But if you have a bunch of ripples on the bottom, that wave collapses and it does this, and you don't get a good surf wave. And that's what's happening here, is we're losing oil film because of there's too many peaks and valleys in too short of a distance. It's like having a beach with a bunch of rocks on the bottom and not a hard shelf. Now I need real engineers out there to tell me I'm full of hooky, because I don't think I am.
So I got a call from my local Chevy dealer this morning, where the Camaro's been for the last 6 weeks, because it does this when you get on full throttle.
Anyway, that's awesome.
And he told me that GM has placed a warranty block on my car. Apparently an engineer from GM came out, inspected my car, saw the aftermarket parts, and said, oh yeah, we can't extend warranty coverage to that engine. Now this is interesting because the aftermarket parts on the car are a set of camber plates, a set of sway bars, and extended front studs for the second wheel set, which, unrelated issue, has now been stolen. I also added a wiring harness so that you can get ventilated seats. So anyway, one of those 4 modifications is apparently responsible for bore scoring and excessive crankcase pressure. Service advisor at the dealership says, engineer didn't tell us shit. Call the customer engagement team. Call the customer engagement team. Really nice woman over there says, wow, warranty block, I have no idea what you're talking about. Aftermarket parts? No idea. Call the service advisor back. Hey, they don't know anything. What can you tell me? He says, nothing else. So anyway, if you work at GM, or if you know somebody who works at GM and you're capable of transmitting meaningful information, drop me a DM. Let's get in touch. Let's figure this out, because what the fuck?
General Motors is cooked. I think this ZR2 makes the point quite well. While Chevy's competitors are selling tons of these cool wide-body performance trucks, whereas apparently all that Chevy can come up with is a standard truck with some lipstick and an engine that blows up. I mean, seriously, there's only 2 really exciting vehicles, the Corvette and the CT5V Blackwing. Everything else that GM makes, milquetoast.
At some point, people stopped expecting their trucks to be perfect and started expecting them to simply work. That's what makes the current situation with GM so frustrating. These are supposed to be some of the biggest, most capable vehicles on the road. Yet, more owners are finding themselves dealing with problems that shouldn't be happening this early in a vehicle's life. And the frustrating part is that a lot of these trucks aren't cheap. We're talking about vehicles that can easily push into the $60,000, $70,000, or even $80,000 range. When someone spends that kind of money, they shouldn't have to wonder how long the transmission is going to last, whether an engine component is going to fail, or what warning light is going to appear next. Modern trucks have also become ridiculously complicated. There are computers controlling almost everything, layers of electronics, complicated engine systems, and technology that can turn a relatively simple problem into an expensive repair. More technology isn't automatically a bad thing, but when it makes a truck harder to maintain and less dependable, people are going to start asking what they're actually paying for. And this isn't just a GM problem. A lot of Americans have become frustrated with what the entire truck market has turned into. Trucks used to feel like tools. They were simple, tough, easy to understand, and built around getting the job done. Now, many of them feel more like luxury vehicles with a truck bed attached. That's where GM has an opportunity to turn things around. The company already has an enormous customer base and decades of history behind it. But brand loyalty isn't unlimited. If customers keep paying more while dealing with expensive failures and complicated repairs, eventually they're going to take their money somewhere else. GM doesn't need to reinvent the truck. In fact, it might need to do the opposite. Build something simpler, make it easier to repair, focus on durability instead of adding another feature that nobody asked for. And most importantly, make sure the person spending tens of thousands of dollars on the vehicle actually feels like they got their money's worth. Because if manufacturers keep moving in the same direction, they may eventually find out that people aren't asking for better trucks anymore. They're asking for the trucks they used to have back.